the Golden State Warriors. I mean, Draymond's not having the best year. Clay's been really underwhelming despite, I think he's trying. That's all you can ask from a guy like Clay. It's happened before, he's had his lows, but he seems to always bounce back. So I don't expect him to be that all-star, but I think, it's Klay Thompson. Like, he can score the ball. He will be back eventually. But to me, it's more disappointing the fact that I thought for them to ascend into being title contenders, that they did trade Jordan Poole. I thought this was going to be the year Kuminga was really going to shine and be in the rotation more and start, and they would invest in his development because of how promising he's been. And Moses Moody, to me, is someone who deserves to play more. There's no flaws in his game. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's been doing that since he was at the Razorbacks. And I just feel like for them to ascend to be a championship contender, the younger guys are what are going to push them to do so. They traded Wiseman. They got rid of Poole. Now it's time for them to not be so one-dimensional. Like, know the facts of the matter. That Draymond, the best is behind him, probably. He's not scary anymore. Like, Anthony Edwards is going at him. Like, I don't think anybody fears Draymond, and I don't think Clay is going to get any better. So, it's just disappointing to me how the rotation is ran. And despite how good Steph's been, to me, it's just a backseat.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I actually said, the fact of the matter is Steph can win you games of basketball, but you're only as good as your next best player. And
who is it?
Exactly. The acquisition of Chris Paul, obviously, it's done wonders when Steph's on the court, and the ability to get open looks for the younger guys, like your Pajimskis, who I think is a really underrated player. I think he could almost be that second guy.
You reckon this season?
Maybe not this season, but I definitely think in spurts this year he's going to play an important role. You saw even when he got minutes late in that game, and he put on 5 or 8 points in that last quarter, nearly tipped it in to get the game back tight, and he was so dirty on himself. But I think you need more production out of guys like Moody, Kuminga. Kuminga's only shooting 20% or 18% from three after the promise that he showed in preseason. Again, how much do we take from preseason basketball? Jordan Poole dropped 41 in a preseason game, and he's obviously had a disappointing year. But they've got enough. I feel like they've got enough guys that can do it. It's just they need that one.
There's a name who I forgot, and I'm sure you'll probably bring him up.
Dario Saric?
No. Former All-Star.
Former All-Star?
Maple.
Oh, Andrew Wiggins. Yes. Andrew Wiggins again, an All-Star a few seasons ago, obviously had that layoff last year for personal reasons or whatever it was, but ever since he's come back, I just don't feel like he's been the same kind of player. No. And I just feel like I said, they need that one guy to be that second star to Steph Curry, because Clay's obviously been in a really bad slump, and maybe age is catching up to him, injuries are catching up to him, and we just have to accept the fate and the reality that this isn't just a slump, and this is genuinely what Klay Thompson has become, as sad as it is to say. Watch him drop 35 points on 10 threes the next game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think we just have to expect that's the reality that we're in with this Warriors team. The dynasty may be officially over. You know what I mean? Did I call it too soon? Maybe. But, with Steph Curry, the way he's playing, you can always give him a chance. But, for how high the hopes were for this team, acquiring Chris Paul, everyone's saying they're still gonna, the championship window's still open. All it takes is, like I said, Steph Curry to be out. We can't rely on Steph Curry's health either.
Chris Paul's the grandpa at this point.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And he's not really a threat to score, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's has games where he has 2 points
Still
and 12 assists. No, and I said, I'm not taking away from that, but I just think for how much hype they, came into the season with, they haven't lived up to it. And the other guys that, Steph was, alongside in those championship runs in Draymond, Clay, and even, like I said, a guy like Chris Paul who's getting on in age, it's just not going to be enough to win you a championship, especially with the amount of firepower that's in the league now, and with all these young guys up and coming and, emerging into superstardom. It's just tough, but I think there's still a disappointment regardless of, the circumstance of Steph being injured or whatnot. They just don't have that firepower that people expected them to, and for us thinking that they were going to still be a championship contender, it's obviously hasn't worked out that way, and for that reason, they are the biggest disappointment because they're below 500. They're on a bit of a slump right now. They're losing games. But yeah, you can't rule them out with Steph Curry playing the way he is. He's putting up almost exact same numbers, if not better, than his unanimous MVP year. But then again, I just don't think they're at that level that we expected them to be at. I didn't really think they were championship contenders in the first place, but I think a lot of people did have those hopes for them. So like the fact that they are below 500 after all the hype that came into the season,
especially when we saw them get rid of Wiseman and Ball, they're like, oh well, they're obviously going in that championship direction if they're getting rid of the young core, because once you get rid of the young core, it's championship or bust really. And if they were to keep all those guys, I don't think they would be in any better of a situation. It's just like.
But it's like the questions would never have been asked, or they would never have been raised if they obviously kept it, and like would have been just a different sort of situation that they're in. But like going back to that Podziemski point, I do rate him really highly. I think he's just got this feel to him like that he knows that he can hang with the best of them in this league. And I know he's a young guy. I know he's inexperienced, but that being a lefty, he looks really good out there. And
well, I needed him
Brandon Podziemski.
I know him, but I don't. I know
he's a gritty defender too.
He's Jack Harlow kind of.
Yeah, he's a gritty defender too. He gets into the passing lanes. He can stick D. He's a decent 3-point shooter. Can get into the lane. Like I said, he's got that he's got that aggressiveness to his game. I feel like he's not afraid of the big moment. And that's why
Kukoc about him
a little bit, yeah. But I think he's a bit shorter than Kukoc. I think he's more of a guard. So, yeah, I just think if he can continue to develop, and he's in the right situation, being in the Warriors, I think he can definitely be that guy that could take a jump in the next couple of years and be a genuine 20-point per game scorer in this league. That's an early call from me, but
I hope that comes true.
Yeah, I really like the looks of him, honestly. So that's like a bright spot in my opinion from the season thus far, from what I've seen from the Warriors, but. At the end of the day, we can unanimously agree that they are a disappointment to start the season off.
Hello, yes, you at home. This is Commissioner of the NBA speaking to you, Adam Silver. Here's a message in courtesy of BenchMob in collaboration with the NBA Store. When BenchMob hits 1,000 subscribers, they'll be giving away a free NBA jersey to a lucky subscriber. So just do all the things listed on the screen.